There's a certain weight to the quiet of early morning, a heaviness that settles into my bones before I even open my eyes. I'm Valerie, 41 years old, and I've learned to measure my days not by moments of joy or anticipation, but by the sheer act of getting through them. My life isn't loud with chaos or sharp with pain. It's just still. Like a pond that's been undisturbed for so long, the surface is smooth, but you can't see what's lurking beneath. I roll over in bed, the mattress dipping slightly under my weight, and I feel the familiar space beside me. Nicholas, my husband of 15 years, is there, as he always is. His breathing is steady, almost mechanical, a sound I've memorized over countless nights. We don't touch, not anymore. The shared blanket is the only thing that binds us in this moment, a thin thread of fabric pretending to hold together something that's long since frayed. I slip out of bed, careful not to disturb the silence, and my bare feet meet the cold hardwood floor of our suburban home. The old wooden stairs creak under my weight as I descend to the kitchen, where the faint smell of yesterday's coffee still lingers in the air. It's a scent that's become as much a part of this house as the peeling paint on the cabinets, or the way the sunlight barely filters through the heavy curtains. I brew a fresh pot, more out of habit than desire, and wait for Nicholas to join me. When he does, it's with the same curt nod we've perfected over the years. "Morning," he mumbles, his voice gravelly from sleep, and I echo it back like a script we've rehearsed too many times. There's no warmth in it, no curiosity about how the other slept, or what the day might hold. We sip our coffee at opposite ends of the small kitchen table. The clink of mugs against wood, the only conversation we manage. This is our routine, carved into the marrow of our days. I head to my job as a mid-level marketing coordinator, where I'm buried under deadlines and endless email chains, my mind numbed by the monotony of campaigns and client calls. Nicholas, a financial analyst, disappears into his own world of spreadsheets and late-night conference calls, his face etched with the same exhaustion I feel when he finally drags himself home. We meet again in the evening, exchanging a few words about nothing in particular. Did the mail come? Is there anything for dinner? Before retreating to our separate corners of the house. By the time we climb into bed, side by side but miles apart, I can't even remember the last time we reached for each other. Not for comfort, not for anything. We've grown so used to this hollow existence, this quiet resignation, that we've convinced ourselves it's enough. Being together, physically present under the same roof, somehow counts as a marriage. But deep down, in the parts of me I don't dare look at too closely, I know there's something missing, something vital that slipped away without me noticing until it was too late. That thought lingers as I sit at my desk later that day, staring at my inbox with bleary eyes. A new email pops up, the subject line reading, "Invitation, week-long marketing seminar at the Willow Retreat." I click on it, skimming the details with the detachment of someone who's seen 100 of these before. It's a professional development opportunity, a chance to network and learn the latest strategies, hosted at a lakeside hotel a few hours away. The name of the place, the Willow Retreat, conjures up an image of a quaint, slightly outdated establishment, and when I look up the website, I'm not wrong. The photos show a building with faded blue shutters, nestled by a serene lake, surrounded by towering pine trees. The lobby looks cozy enough, with a stone fireplace as its centerpiece, but there's a worn-in feel to it all, like it's been standing there for decades, quietly weathering time. I can almost smell the faint dampness of wood in the air, a scent that clings to old places like this. Honestly, I'm not thrilled about the trip. It's just another work obligation, another item on an endless to-do list. But there's a tiny flicker of excitement, too, at the thought of a change of scenery, of stepping away from the monotony of my daily grind, even if just for a few days. That evening, as Nicholas and I sit across from each other at dinner, pushing around the remnants of a takeout meal, I mention the seminar offhandedly. Got an email about a work thing, I say, my tone flat, expecting the usual shrug or half-hearted grunt in response. It's a week-long marketing seminar at some lakeside hotel. I'll be gone for a bit. I don't even look up from my plate, assuming he'll let it pass like he does with most things I say. But then, out of nowhere, his voice cuts through the silence, sharper than I'm used to. "I'll come with you," he says, and I freeze, fork halfway to my mouth. I glance at him, searching his face for some sign he's joking, but his eyes are steady, almost insistent. "We should spend time together," he adds, and there's a weight to those words, a rare determination that I haven't heard from him in years. My mind scrambles to process this. Part of me is skeptical, wondering if he really means it, or if this is just some fleeting impulse he'll regret by morning. But another part, quieter and more fragile, feels a faint spark of hope, a whisper of what we used to be. I don't argue, though. I just nod, murmuring a soft, "Okay," and that's that. We finish dinner in the same silence as always, but now it feels heavier, charged with something I can't quite name. Packing the next day is more of a chore than anything. As I stand in the lobby of the Willow Retreat, the faint, musty scent of aged wood and lake air filling my lungs, I can't help but feel like I've stepped into a different world. The drive up here with Nicholas was long and mostly silent, the hum of the car engine the only thing breaking the tension between us. Now, as I check in for the seminar, I glance over at him, standing a few feet away with our bags, his face as unreadable as ever. I wonder, not for the first time, why he insisted on coming. Was it really to reconnect? Or is there something else behind those guarded eyes? I push the thought aside as I'm handed my seminar badge and schedule, forcing myself to focus on the week ahead. That's when I first notice Leo. He's hard to miss, standing near the fireplace in the lobby, surrounded by a small group of seminar attendees. He's 35, with tousled dark hair that looks like he just rolled out of bed, but somehow it works on him. His sharp wit cuts through the murmur of polite small talk, and his effortless charm draws people in like moths to a flame. I watch as he throws his head back in laughter at something someone said, his smile wide and unguarded, and I can't help but feel a pull toward that energy. It's so different from Nicholas's quiet brooding, the way my husband seems to carry the weight of the world in his silence. During the seminar breaks that first day, Leo stands out even more. He's always at the center of a crowd, cracking jokes and sharing anecdotes that make even the most reserved participants chuckle. I find myself lingering nearby, not quite joining in, but unable to look away. Over the next couple of days, I have these small, fleeting interactions with Leo that stick with me more than they should. On the second morning, he offers me a coffee during a break, his fingers brushing mine as he hands me the cup. It's a nothing moment, but my skin tingles where we touched, and I catch myself replaying it later. Another time, I drop my pen during a session, and he picks it up for me, our hands brushing again as he passes it back. His gaze lingers just a second too long, and I feel my cheeks heat up under the weight of it. I tell myself it's harmless, just friendly banter, but there's an undercurrent I can't ignore. Meanwhile, Nicholas spends his days either reading by the lake, his book propped open on his lap as he stares out at the water, or sitting silently in our room, lost in his own thoughts. When I try to talk to him, our conversations fizzle into awkward silences, the space between us growing wider with every failed attempt. I feel like I'm grasping at something that's already slipped through my fingers, and it frustrates me more than I can say. Then comes the evening that changes everything. It's the fourth night of the seminar, and Leo catches me in the lobby after the day's sessions, a playful grin on his face. He invites Nicholas and me to join him for drinks on the hotel's terrace overlooking the lake. I hesitate, glancing at Nicholas, who's standing nearby with that same stoic expression, but he gives a small nod, so I agree. The terrace is beautiful in the cool night air, the clink of wine glasses mingling with the soft lapping of the lake against the shore. Fairy lights are strung along the railing, casting a warm, golden glow over the small group of us gathered there. Leo dominates the conversation, as he always does, spinning captivating stories about his travels and misadventures. I'm drawn in, laughing at his punchlines, while Nicholas sits stiffly beside me, barely sipping his wine. I can feel the tension radiating off him, especially when Leo, in the middle of a laugh, casually places his hand on my shoulder. It's such a natural gesture, so fleeting, but it's charged with something I can't name. I glance at Nicholas and see his jaw tighten, his eyes narrowing, but he doesn't say a word. The air feels thicker now, heavier, and I'm caught in the middle of it, my pulse quickening for reasons I can still feel the warmth of Leo's hand on my shoulder from earlier tonight, even as I step out of his room, my hair slightly disheveled, my breath uneven from the whirlwind of what just happened. My heart is pounding so hard, I'm sure it's echoing through the quiet hallway of the Willow Retreat. I close the door behind me with a soft click, trying to steady myself, to make sense of the line I've just crossed. The dim light from the flickering fluorescent bulbs overhead casts long shadows on the worn carpet, and I take a shaky step forward, my mind a chaotic mess of guilt and exhilaration. That's when I freeze. There, at the end of the hallway, stands Nicholas. His face is pale, almost ghostly under the harsh light, and his eyes, those eyes I've known for 15 years, are locked on mine. I can't move, can't breathe, as the silence stretches between us, heavy and suffocating, like a weight pressing down on my chest. I search his expression for something, anything, pain, anger, disgust, but it's unreadable, a mask of emotions I can't decipher. My stomach twists into knots, and I feel the heat rising to my cheeks, the shame burning through me as I realize he must know. He must have seen something, sensed something. He speaks first, his voice low and steady, cutting through the oppressive quiet like a knife. I saw everything. My stomach drops, a sickening lurch that makes my knees weak. I open my mouth to say something, anything, to explain, to apologize, to beg for understanding, but the words stumble over themselves, a jumbled mess of half-formed thoughts. Nicholas, I didn't mean, I stammer, my voice barely above a whisper, but he cuts me off before I can finish. His next words hit me like a physical blow, stunning me into silence. It was beautiful, but I can't stay. I blink, my mind reeling, trying to process what he just said. Beautiful? What does that even mean? There's a surreal weight to his statement, a cold finality in the way he says he can't stay, and I'm left grasping at the edges of understanding, my thoughts spinning out of control. Does he mean he saw the connection, the raw energy between Leo and me, and somehow appreciated it? Or is there something darker, something more broken in his words that I can't yet see? I don't know. And the uncertainty gnaws at me, tearing at the fragile threads of my composure. I stand there, rooted to the spot, as he turns away without another word. His footsteps are slow, deliberate, as he walks back toward our room, his shoulders hunched slightly, like he's carrying a burden I can't even imagine. I don't follow him. I can't. My legs feel like they're made of lead, and my chest is tight, each breath a struggle against the storm raging inside me. Instead, I lean against the wall, the cool surface grounding me as my trembling hands press against it for support. I close my eyes, replaying the moment over and over in my head, his pale face, the flicker of something unspoken in his gaze, the way his voice trembled just slightly on the word beautiful. What did he mean? I can't wrap my mind around it, Can't reconcile the man I've lived with for so long with the enigma standing in this hallway just moments ago. My thoughts are a tangled mess, guilt crashing against a strange, unsettling sense of liberation. I've betrayed him, shattered whatever fragile trust remained between us, and yet there's a part of me, a small, reckless part, that feels alive for the first time in years. It's a sickening contradiction, and I hate myself for it. But I can't deny it's there, pulsing beneath the surface. I slide down the wall until I'm sitting on the floor, my knees pulled up to my chest, the rough texture of the carpet scraping against my bare legs. The hallway is eerily quiet now, save for the faint hum of the fluorescent lights above me. I bury my face in my hands, trying to sort through the chaos in my mind. I think about the years I wake up to the gray dawn light seeping through the thin hotel curtains, a muted glow that seems to drain the color from everything it touches. My head feels heavy, my eyes gritty from a night of restless half-sleep, haunted by the memory of Nicholas's words echoing in my mind. I turn over, expecting to see him there, his familiar shape under the covers, but the bed beside me is empty, the sheets cold. A jolt of unease shoots through me as I sit up, rubbing the sleep from my eyes, and that's when I see him. Nicholas is already up, standing by the small desk in the corner of our room at the Willow Retreat. He's packing his suitcase with a kind of mechanical precision, his movements sharp and deliberate, like he's following a checklist in his head. The sound of the zipper on his bag cuts through the stillness, a harsh, grating noise that makes me flinch. His back is to me, his shoulders tense, and he doesn't turn around, doesn't acknowledge me at all. I notice the untouched coffee on the bedside table, the steam long gone, the mug just sitting there like a silent witness to the distance between us. His belongings are neatly folded, disappearing into the suitcase one by one, his shirts, his book, the small travel kit he always keeps so organized. It's as if he's erasing himself from this space, from this moment, from me. I swing my legs over the side of the bed, the cold floor biting into my bare feet, and I try to find my voice. "Nicholas," I start, but it cracks, raw and unsteady, betraying the turmoil churning inside me. "Can we talk? Please?" My words hang in the air, fragile and desperate, but he doesn't even pause. He shakes his head, a small, almost imperceptible movement, and when he finally speaks, his voice is low, closed off like a door slamming shut. "There's nothing to say, Valerie." Those words hit me like a punch, the weight of them sinking deep into my chest, stealing the air from my lungs. I feel the sting of tears pricking at the corners of my eyes, but I blink them back, refusing to let them fall. I want to argue, to scream, to beg him to look at me, to see me, but I'm frozen, rooted to the spot as I watch him finish packing. He zips the suitcase with a final decisive tug, slings it over his shoulder, and heads for the door. He doesn't glance back, doesn't hesitate, and the click of the door shutting behind him echoes in the hollow space of the room, reverberating through me like a gunshot. It's a sound of finality, a sound that tells me this isn't just a moment, it's an end. I stumble to the window, my legs shaky, and push aside the curtain just in time to see him walking across the parking lot toward our car. The early morning mist clings to the ground, swirling around his feet as he moves with purpose, his figure growing smaller with each step. He tosses his bag into the trunk, slides into the driver's seat, and starts the engine. I press my hand against the glass, my breath fogging up the cold surface, willing him to look up, to give me one last glance, one last chance to understand. But he doesn't. The car pulls away, the taillights glowing red through the haze, disappearing down the winding road that hugs the lake. I stand there, watching until there's nothing left to see, until the road is empty and the silence of the morning swallows me whole. My knees give out, and I sink onto the bed, the mattress sagging under my weight. A wave of emotions crashes over me, relief that the tension between us has finally snapped, loss for what we've become, and a deep, gnawing uncertainty about what comes next. Our marriage, already so fragile, has fractured beyond repair, and I know it in my bones. There's no going back from this, no pretending we can stitch the pieces together again. I lie back on the bed, staring at the ceiling, the cracked plaster blurring as my mind replays last night's, the remaining days at the Willow Retreat pass in a haze, like I'm watching my own life through a foggy window. I go through the motions, attending workshops, scribbling notes I know I'll never look at again, smiling politely during networking breaks while my mind is somewhere else entirely. My body is there, sitting in those stiff conference chairs, but I feel like a ghost in my own skin, detached, floating above it all. The chatter of the other attendees, the clatter of coffee cups, the hum of the projector in the seminar room, it all blends into a dull background noise, unable to pierce the thick wall of thoughts that surrounds me. I catch glimpses of Leo sometimes, across the room during a session or at the bar in the evening, his laugh cutting through the murmur of voices. His smile is still inviting, still carrying that effortless charm that drew me in, but I make no move to approach him. What happened between us was a moment, a sharp, fleeting spark that burned bright and then faded just as quickly. It wasn't a future, and I think I knew that even as it was happening. I don't avoid him out of shame or regret. I just don't have anything left to say. So I watch from a distance, letting the space between us grow, feeling the weight of that choice settle into my chest. One evening, after the day's sessions have wrapped, I find myself needing to escape the stifling air of the hotel. I slip out through a side door, the cool night breeze brushing against my face as I make my way down a narrow path toward the lake. The gravel crunches under my shoes, a steady rhythm that grounds me as I walk, and the faint scent of pine and damp earth fills my lungs. I find a weathered wooden bench near the water's edge, its paint chipped and faded from years of exposure to the elements. I sit down, the rough surface catching on the fabric of my jacket, and I let my gaze settle on the lake. Under the moonlight, the water ripples gently, each wave catching the silver glow and scattering it like shattered glass. It's beautiful in a quiet, unassuming way, and for the first time in days, I feel my shoulders loosen, just a fraction. I pull my coat tighter around me, the chill seeping into my bones, and I let my mind wander over everything that's happened. I think about that night with Leo, the rush of it, the way it felt like I was waking up after years of sleepwalking through my life. I don't regret it, not exactly. It forced me to see the emptiness I'd been living in, the hollow shell of a marriage I'd clung to out of habit more than love. But I don't see it as a victory either. It's not something to celebrate or be proud of. It's just something that happened, a crack in the foundation that revealed how unstable everything already was. My thoughts drift to Nicholas, as they inevitably do. I wonder where he is right now, if he's back at our house, sitting in the silence of our kitchen, or if he's somewhere else entirely, as lost as I feel. I picture him staring out at nothing, his face unreadable as it so often was, and I can't help but replay his last words to me. It was beautiful, but I can't stay. Those words have haunted me, looping through my mind like a broken record, each repetition carving a deeper groove into my uncertainty. What did he mean by beautiful? Was it some twisted acceptance, or was there pain beneath it, a pain he couldn't voice? I don't know, and I may never know. But sitting here by the lake, with the quiet lapping of the water as my only companion, I start to see that his reaction revealed just as much about him as my actions did about me. We were both hiding, both running from truths we didn't want to face. Maybe he saw something in that moment, something raw, something real, that mirrored his own unspoken desires or regrets. Or maybe he just saw the end, clear as day. and chose to walk away before it could hurt any more than it already did. As I sit there, the moonlight casting long shadows across the ground, I come to realize that sometimes letting go is the bravest choice we can make. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you